Hello and welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on the different facets of motoring. Now on its 34th year, this is Motoring Today. I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for. On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss why the full implementation of the Child Safety in Motor Vehicles Act is being deferred by the government. Our road safety reminder on the Young Street Smarts portion centers on rules regarding traffic lights. This week's Payang Chuper shall be about following the 3-second distance rule. The public service segment centers on the DOTR and LTO's reaction to the general motoring public's backlash on the operations of PMVICs. Showcase this week shall have the midsize SUV from Kia, the Sorento 2.2 EX 4x4 Automatic. While for race weekend, we'll look back at the first leg of the 2020 National Slalom Series.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are on this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. Transport authorities seem to be sensitive to public opinion, which may or may not be a good thing. But in the case of the motor vehicle testing fee controversy, car owners should find it as a positive.
Vehicle owners should be glad to hear that private motor vehicle inspection centers, or PMVICs, will be charging lower fees for testing and will even waive retesting fees for those that failed the initial testing. When transport authorities finally began allowing authorized PMVICs to operate in a number of areas nationwide, many vehicle owners complained of what they called excessive fees, from 1,500 to 1,800 pesos for private vehicles and 900 more after a failed test. Many also questioned why vehicle owners are forced to pay for the cost of testing, arguing that government should shoulder the burden of ensuring only roadworthy vehicles get registered with the Land Transportation Office. Under fire from the public and with the President himself weighing in on the side of the vehicle owners opposed to the PMVIC fees, Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade appealed to PMVICs to charge the same rates as those being charged by private emission testing centers, which is around 500 to 800 pesos. PMVIC owners and operators acceded to the appeal and even agreed to waive retesting fees, at least for 1 year. A DOTR press statement quoted Inigo Larrazabal, president of the Private Vehicle Inspection Center Owners Association of the Philippines, as saying that in this time of the pandemic, they agreed to lower fees while still performing the mandate of ensuring roadworthiness of vehicles registered with the Land Transportation Office. Meanwhile, the Clean Air Philippines Movement Inc. or CAPMI said that strict testing of vehicles for roadworthiness and emissions should continue. PMVIC should continue to operate, but Congress should sponsor emergency legislation to authorize government to subsidize their operations during the pandemic.
Will this new situation with PMVICs affect efforts of transport authorities to roll out more of them nationwide? That's a question needing answers if the rollout of more PMVICs will succeed. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced communities and industries to rethink how they go about living and doing business. The same is true for the DOTR, which has turned to smart technology and digitalization to make mass transport more efficient and safer.
At the recent Smart Mobility Forum organized by the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines and Fairs and More Inc., the DOTR presented various transport infrastructure projects and programs of the 4 sectors under its umbrella: aviation and airports, maritime, railways, and road transport. DOTR Undersecretary for Railways Timothy John Batan represented Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade at the forum, which had the theme Reimagining the Future. In a keynote address, USEC Batan noted that in the new normal forced upon communities and industries by the COVID-19 pandemic, the DOTR is promoting smart mobility through digitalization. USEC Batan said the DOTR was harnessing the prime practices of technology and carrying out new innovations as a response to the economy's and society's changing needs. He added that the DOTR was undertaking present initiatives as part of long-term solutions for the future so that commuters will regain confidence in commuting. The primary goal of the DOTR is to establish smart mobility across the country's archipelago, aligned with the marching order from the President to make the Filipino life comfortable.
The many who have experienced smart technology being implemented to make mass transport in other countries convenient, efficient, and reliable are hoping the DOTR remains steadfast in its smart mobility projects and programs. And finally, the MMDA chair sees the soon-to-rise Baclaran People's Market as a solution to the perennial problem of traffic congestion in Baclaran.
MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos was among the special guests at the recent groundbreaking ceremony for the Baclaran People's Market. The Baclaran People's Market is being built across the Redemptorist Church and is expected to be a venue for the thousands of illegal vendors displaced in clearing operations conducted on and off around Baclaran by the MMDA and the Parañaque City local government. The public will have access to the Light Rail Transit 1 Cavite Extension Project Station, loading and unloading zone for public utility vehicles, overhead pedestrian crossing, and parking areas that would benefit both the market goers and the vendors. During the groundbreaking ceremony, Chairman Abalos said the MMDA hopes the public market will help address the perennial traffic problems in Baclaran. He also expects the public market will provide formal livelihood, employment, and economic opportunities not only to the marginalized constituents of Parañaque, but also to those living in the neighboring LGUs.
Wednesdays in Baclaran are particularly crowded and congested with thousands of devotees and pilgrims who visit the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church located along Ross Boulevard. A well-planned and managed Baclaran People's Market can help ease congestion during Wednesdays and the other days of the week. And those are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. The DOTR and the LTO have agreed to defer full implementation of the Child Safety on Motor Vehicles Act. Motoring Forum discusses why this is being done.
On February 2, 2021, provisions of Republic Act 11229, the Child Safety in Motor Vehicles Act, took effect. RA 11229 requires children to use child restraint systems or child car seats that are appropriate for their age, height, and weight while inside a private vehicle. It also disallows children 12 years old and below who are shorter than 4'11" from sitting in the front passenger seat of a moving vehicle or to be left unattended inside a private vehicle even when parked. The implementation got off to a rocky start with many car owners complaining about the suddenness of it. The confusing provisions over the kind of car restraints are needed or allowed for children of various sizes, ages, or weights. Posts and memes and social media were generally all negative. Traditional media also got into the picture, publishing mostly complaints from people. The DOTR and the LTO got the brunt of the complaints, prompting both agencies to issue clarifications that both were just among the many government agencies tasked to enforce the RA 11229. And by the way, they pointed out, RA 11229 was enacted by Congress way back in December 2018 and signed into law in February 2019. The necessary implementing rules and regulations were finalized and approved in December of 2019, with a transitory period set for at least 1 year to allow for the dissemination of information about the new law, as well as giving time for the concerned government agencies to prepare for the effective enforcement of the law. The DOTR and the LTO had to come out and say that requiring car restraint systems for children is not a policy or rule they are enforcing on their own. It is the law of the land. In detailing the dates of the passage of RA 11229 and its IRR, the LTO and the DOTR are saying there is nothing sudden about its implementation. The LTO and the DOTR also said people can't claim not to know about the new law because at every step of its enactment into law and the drafting of the IRR, hearings and public consultations were conducted. At each step, many parents and guardians were involved in the hearing and public consultations. They added that the IRR itself was a product of multi-stakeholder collaboration that included various NGOs and CSO or civil society organizations. The law itself was proposed and enacted for the safety of children in motor vehicles, and basically hews to recommendations of World Health Organization on the use of seatbelts in child restraint systems that studies say reduce by 70% deaths for infants and 45 to 54% for children aged 1 to 4 years old in an accident. In deciding to defer strict implementation of RA 11229, the DOTR and the LTO admitted that there was still a need for a comprehensive public information campaign about the new law, its provisions, and its importance. The LTO revealed that it has scheduled an enforcement and communications planning workshop on the implementation of RA 11229 on March 19 to 20 last year, but then the COVID-19 pandemic intervened and the workshop was postponed. It added that a campaign was also planned to roll out information regarding the law, targeting teachers and school officials, children, medical practitioners, and the manufacturers, retailers, importers of child restraint systems. Meanwhile, LTO Chief Edgar Galvate said his agency will be focusing on information dissemination about the new law, in coordination with other government agencies such as the Philippine Information Agency, the Department of Education, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the private sector.
Road safety advocates are hoping government authorities will have learned from what happened by the seeming lack of a comprehensive information campaign on provisions of the Child Safety on Motor Vehicles Act and its IRR prior to its enforcement. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
Seven-seater in style.
Montero Sport. Elevate your journey.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
And you are back with us here on Motoring Today. In line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines. Isa sa mga pinakamahalagang traffic rules ay ang pagsunod sa traffic lights. Maging ikaw ay pedestrian or driver, you should always learn how to obey the traffic lights. Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. From Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, here is Bayang Chaper this week.
Payong tsuper lang, kaibigan. Ako si Rodrigo, isang kapwa niyo tsuper. Siguraduhin may sapat na espasyo pagitan ng inyong sasakyan at nasa inyong harapan sa tuwing namamasada.
Maaari mo itong gawin sa pamamagitan ng pagsunod sa 3-second rule, kung saan ikaw ay maglalaan ng 3 seconds of space sa pagitan mo at ng sasakyan sa iyong harapan. Humanap ng palatandaan sa gilid ng kalsada. Kapag nakita mong nakalampas na dito ang sinusundang sasakyan, saka ka umabante at sumunod.
Tandaan sa pamamagitan ng pagsusunod sa 3-second rules, maiiwasan ang gitgitan sa kalsada. Ito po si Rodrigo Apas, payong tsuper lang, kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa nyo tsuper.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. World of Motorsports is next. We start with the latest news and developments. The Race Motorsports Club managed to flag off its 2020 season before the government imposed strict community quarantine restrictions. Many veterans showed up, along with many newbies. Let's look back on Race Weekend's interview with these racers, as well as Miss Bing Bang Dulce. Over 3 decades now, Race Motorsports Club has been holding slalom races in parking lots and closed-off streets, providing a venue for race enthusiasts to try their hand in legitimate, organized, and relatively safe racing. Timed laps around the slalom course outlined by cones, a medium for testing and honing driving skills. Over the years, the National Slalom Series has kept the embers of motorsports burning in bad times and fanning the flames of growth in good times. This year, as in the past few years, it has been more about fanning the flames of growth. The 2020 National Slalom Series has flagged off to a great start with the first leg held at the all-too-familiar venue, Robinson's Antipolo. The stars and contenders for the Slalom King title as well as various class championships are back. The first round also sees slalom veterans returning to the sport, and many expect title runs to be tighter.
For this year, we still have again another 12-leg national series and 3 invitational slalom legs. And this is the first leg here at Robinson's Antipolo. And the second one will be on March 22 at the NFA compound, Cabanatuan City. Then we shall go around the provinces for our invitational legs. We shall be at Bacnotan and San Fernando, La Union, and Robinson's Calasiao. And as you can see, our premier drivers, our veteran drivers are back with us. We have Pee-wee, we have Ryan Ablang, we have Paul Santos, and the rest. And we look forward to an exciting season that is going to be a bottleneck for the drivers this year.
The return of the contenders, plus the experienced veterans, is not the only thing that is expected to make for a more exciting season and to draw more entries. New rules and new classes are also in play this year.
We've included also in your classes, as per their request, we have included the all Mitsu, all Honda, and all Toyota classes. And then there are revisions for the rules. Open classes will now be included for the overall best time and also for the novice prototype. And the prototype cars are now included also for the best time of the day, provided that they are using the specified federal tires.
This year, there is also an added incentive for the Slalom King title contenders. To commemorate the passing of Lito Dulce, Race Motorsports Club is instituting the Lito Dulce Perpetual Cup.
The Lito Pongs Dulce Perpetual Cup, we shall be given to the Slalom King each year. And if you get for 3 consecutive years the title, you get to bring home the Perpetual Cup. Tapos noon, bago na naman, another set na naman yun for the Lito Dulce Perpetual Cup.
Among the veterans dusting off their slalom race cars to participate in the series, at least for the first leg and whatever their schedules allow in the future, is Doc Pee-wee Mendiola.
Well, like always, it's always exciting to do that 1 minute of very intense driving. So I've been away for quite a while and I thought I'd give it a try again today.
Doc Pee-wee is giving slaloms another try behind his trusty Starlet. And apparently, the Doctor and the Starlet still got what it takes, setting the second best overall time of the day, behind 5-time Slalom King Milo Rivera, who also showed up for the first slalom race of 2020.
It's been whiling away in dust for quite some time. Then now I took it out and we cleaned it up, and nice to know that it still runs pretty well. Well, I've just planned to enjoy my day and do the best that I can. If we win, good. If we don't, it's okay. I'm just having fun.
Also making a return to slaloms is Doc Pee-wee's teammate in Team Big Chill, Paul Santos, who wants to make it to as many slalom legs as possible that do not conflict with GT races.
We did not attend, we did not join slalom racing for 2 years. So, but we missed the sport. So, and we're also supporting. This is like a tribute to the late Lito Dulce. So we're here. So hopefully we can always compete here if there's no conflict with other races, because we also do circuit racing at the Philippine GT.
Like Doc Pee-wee, Paul had to rush prepping his slalom race car to make it to the first leg of the season.
Actually, my car was in the garage for 2 years, so it took us just 1 day. Now we're racing. I'm also with my teammate, Dr. Pee-wee Mendiola, and our competitors, Stefano and Milo. It's very nice to see familiar faces again. We're very close-knit. We're like a family here at slalom racing.
Aside from returning veterans, also seen to make the 2020 slalom season all the more competitive are young racers just getting into the sport, like the Bince brothers, Alvin and Alfie.
Ngayon po, sobrang dami talaga ng kalaban namin ngayon. Actually, lumalaban ako sa novice. So ngayon, medyo malalakas talaga mga kalaban namin ngayon. So we'll try our best na lang para makuha yun.
For me, lumalaban ako sa open ngayon, open class. Medyo marami din kalaban pero kakayanin naman.
After more than 30 years of organizing the National Slalom Series, Bing Bang Dulce continues to see slalom as the best medium for getting into motorsports.
I hope that they would be able to compete internationally, because as you all well know, slalom is the grassroots of all the disciplines of motorsports, and it's the most affordable event, motorsports discipline. So we hope that we could train the young ones, especially the young ones. We have a lot of new lady drivers, and they started from age 9, like Sophia, and we have newcomers for the ladies and also newcomers for the junior classes. So we hope we can continue to provide teaching them on the proper slalom driving.
The first and lone round of the 2020 National Slalom Series debuted innovations and rule changes seen to make slalom more exciting and fun. We can't wait to see this to happen. And that's this week's World of Motorsports. Motoring Today continues right after this break.
Live extra.
with the new Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto industry.
Geely describes the Okavango Urban as a wonderfully distinct SUV. It has now rolled out a new variant which it says is wonderfully distinct even more. Of course, it's named the Geely Okavango Urban Plus. So what are the pluses in the new Okavango? One is the 60-inch panoramic sunroof that comes with a 3-layer shade and a sensor to automatically shut it when it rains. Another is the adaptive drive beam matrix LED headlamps with 4 lighting modes, self-adjusting high and low beams, automatic headlight level, and steering linkage. The third is a 12.3-inch digital instrument panel with music, radio, multimedia functions. Sojitz Auto Philippines Executive Vice President Yosuke Nishi says the Okavango Urban Plus is just one of the first additions to the Geely lineup for 2021. We will further reinforce our product lineup for this year, starting with the introduction of the Okavango Urban Plus variant and a few more updates and another model in the second half of the year, he adds. The COVID-19 pandemic put a stop to media ride and drives in 2020. Now with community quarantine restrictions easing, EF Philippines deems it safe enough to invite a small group of motoring journalists to road test the Stonic. Of course, proper health protocols were strictly observed with negative swab test results for participants prior to the event, and mask and social distancing during the ride and drive. The ride and drive up to Tagaytay was meant to showcase the Stonic's 5 main attractions as a subcompact crossover. These are all described in 5S: style, space, shift, sounds, and service. Style refers to the Stonic's iconic look and colors, which Kia says are aimed at the younger crowd. Space refers to the surprisingly roomy interior in the subcompact, helped along by a 2,570mm wheelbase. Shift is all about the smooth powertrain, featuring a fuel-efficient 1.4-liter gasoline engine with CVVT and a 6-speed automatic transmission that makes the Stonic a fun, all-around drive. Sounds advert to the onboard entertainment from the 8-inch touchscreen audio system that connects to mobile devices via Android Auto or Apple CarPlay and plays through 6 speakers. Service is all about the kind of active and passive safety features that serve to help make for trouble-free drives with the Stonic. He adds that service also refers to the 5-year or 160,000-kilometer warranty, the free 24/7 roadside assistance for 5 years covering emergency towing, personal assistance, minor on-site repair, medical assistance, and information service for a secured, enjoyable, and worry-free Stonic ownership. Isuzu Philippines, the exclusive assembler, importer, and distributor of brand new Isuzu commercial vehicles and light commercial vehicles, topped overall in various categories of truck sales in 2020. According to the joint sales report of the Truck Manufacturers Association and the Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines, Inc., covering the period from January to December 2020, Isuzu sold 2,322 units of its N-Series light-duty trucks, topping the Category 3 with a 53% market share. It also led Category 4 by selling 1,064 units of its F-Series medium-duty trucks for a 38% share. The Isuzu CNE Series heavy-duty trucks lorded over the competition by selling 320 units for a 35% share. When combined, Isuzu commercial vehicle sales in Categories 3, 4, and 5 totaled 3,707 units, or 45.2% share of the market. This makes Isuzu the #1 truck brand for 21 consecutive years and #1 in light-duty truck sales for 22 consecutive years. Isuzu also reported selling 3,346 units of the D-Max pickup in 2020, a 12% increase over 2019 sales. It also sold 1,681 new X units last year. We are confident on our truck lineup, but as the demand changes and increases, IPC evolves and is ready to introduce new products that the Philippine market will love. Hopefully, those products will help boost our economy this year, said IPC President Hazume Koso. Mitsubishi Motor Philippines reports selling 764 units of the L300 in January, a 59% increase over sales in December. Mitsubishi attributed the increase in sales of the L300 to the special retro promo that lowered the down payment to 698,000 pesos for the L300 cab and chassis. Mitsubishi also reported selling 9 units of the Strada pickup, 101 units more than it sold in the last month of 2020. Every month displays a new challenge for us, but we are grateful to consistently receive an overwhelming support from the market and admirable passion from our dealer partners, said Mitsubishi Philippines President and CEO Mutsuhiro Oshikiri. We will continue to strive and give the market enticing promos to assist them in owning their desired Mitsubishi vehicle, he added.
Motoring Today now brings you our Car of the Week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. Kia Philippines reports being encouraged by a resurgence in sales in the final quarter of 2020, led by the Soluto, the K2 500, and the Stonic. Also padding its sales number is the Sorento, its entry in the mid-size 7-seater SUV market. Showcase takes a look at one of its variants, the 2.2EX 4x4 automatic.
The mid-size 7-seater sport utility vehicle market is quite crowded these days, with more entries expected to arrive this year. It is increasingly difficult to stand out in this saturated segment of the auto market, and automakers are resorting to equipping SUVs with the latest gadgetry and automotive technology that make driving and riding an SUV safer, more convenient, and fun. Kia is doing so with the Sorento, which at 4,800mm long, 1,890mm wide, and 1,685mm tall, fits squarely in the mid-size SUV category. The Sorento 2.2EX automatic 4x4 has a 2,780mm long wheelbase and sits 185mm off the ground on 18-inch alloy wheels wrapped by 235 60R18 tires. The Sorento doesn't dazzle with styling like its smaller sibling, the Stonic, but instead goes for the classic SUV look that should stand the test of time. Still, it comes with styling cues that make it unmistakably a Kia, particularly the chrome grille and headlamp design. The 4x4 variant features LED auto leveling headlamps with auto light control, LED daytime running lights, and projection-type front fog lamps. Body color front and rear bumpers, as well as the silver skid plate, enhance the classic character of the Sorento. So does the tastefully chromed outside door handle and door garnish. The side view mirrors comes in the body color and with integrated turn signals. The mirrors adjust and fold electronically. Other exterior features include rear spoiler, high mount stop lamp, LED rear combination lamps, pole-type antenna, and a powered tailgate. These days must-haves for mid-size SUVs include a smart entry system with push-start button. Inside is a roomy cabin with 3 rows of leather upholstery seats for 7. The driver's seat adjusts electronically 8 ways and 2 ways for lumbar support. There's 320 liters capacity for luggage with all seats upright, 1,077 liters with third row seats folded, and 2,066 liters with both second and third row seats folded. The classy character of the Sorrento's exterior styling extends into its elegant interior with its glossy black dashboard trim and satin chrome inside door handles. The instrument panel is handsomely laid out with standard speedometer, tachometer, rheostat controls, and a mono TFT LCD multifunction display. The 4-spoke leather upholstered steering wheel tilts and telescopes and features controls for audio, Bluetooth, and cruise control. The gear shift knob is also wrapped in leather. Complementing the smart entry system are power door locks with impact sensing function. Other standard features in the Sorento 4x4 include vanity mirrors on sun visors, day and night rear view mirrors, sunglass case, and cup holders on the front console, second row armrest and third row side trims, power outlets on the center fascia, and dual-zone automatic air conditioning. The Sorento infotainment system features a 7-inch touchscreen, AM/FM radio, CD and MP3 player, USB and aux input, Bluetooth connectivity with voice control, and is compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It plays through 4 speakers plus 2 tweeters. The Sorento is powered by a 2.2-liter 4-cylinder double overhead cam diesel engine with common rail direct injection system and variable geometry turbocharger. The engine generates 200 PS and 441 Nm of torque from 1,750 to 2,750 RPM. On the Sorento 2.2EX automatic 4x4, all that power and torque is sent to the 4 wheels via an active on-demand 4-wheel drive system with an 8-speed automatic transmission with Shiftronic. Stopping power comes from an all-wheel disc brake system. The Sorento suspension features McPherson struts and stabilizers in the front and a multi-link system in the rear. The Sorento 4x4 is equipped with various driver assistance technology including cruise control. Active and passive systems also come standard in the Sorento. These include front airbags, anti-lock brake system, brake assistance system, electronic stability control, vehicle stability management, and hill start assist control.
The Sorento 2.2EX 4x4 automatic comes with a price tag of 2.195 million pesos. Does this make the Sorento a good value for money mid-size SUV with all its features? That's our featured vehicle on this week's showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Suzuki Ertiga.
Life is beating fast. Find what you're waiting for.
Seven-seater in style.
We now have our segment that dwells on the wide array of motoring problems, not only in the metro, but all over the country as well. This is where we present problems referred to us, or we ourselves see and hope to fully find solutions for. Here's our public service segment brought to you by Honda Cars Philippines.
Back in January, traditional and social media especially have been bombarded with complaints with regard to the operation and supposed failure of private motor vehicle inspection centers or PMVICs. Now, the issues seem to have died down, and this is probably due to the actions taken by the government, particularly the Department of Transportation. Motor vehicle and motorcycle owners who are processing the renewal of registration of their units have their own share of problems with PMVICs. There are motorists who complain about excessive fees, test results, damages, and even criticize the equipment used by certain PMVICs. With all these hullabaloos, Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade appealed to PMVIC owners to lower inspection fees. The two parties have since settled with this and even waived re-inspection fees for a year.
Narinig at naintindihan po ni Secretary Tugade ang hinahing ng ating mga kababayan. Maging ang mga isyu na inihain ng ating mga mambabatas ukol sa pagpapatupad ng MVIS. Matapos ang mahabang negosasyon at diskusyon, matapos po ang sunod-sunod na dialogo at mga meetings, napapayag po ni Secretary Tugade ang mga MVIC owners na iparehas ang kanilang singil sa kasulukuyang singil ng mga PETC owners.
The exact figure agreed upon is 600 pesos from the previous 1,500 to 1,800 pesos for the inspection of vehicles, the same rate as that of private emission testing centers. But PMVICs will still continue to test all the inspection points mandated by the Land Transportation Office. Meanwhile, motorcycle units inspection fee is down to 500 pesos, while 300 pesos for public utility jeepneys. The Vehicle Inspection Center Owners Association of the Philippines, for its part, said that despite not being mandated for vehicle registration, their work goes beyond compliance and regulation, and stressed that vehicle inspection is about saving lives.
We acknowledge that MVICs are not mandated for vehicle registration. However, our work in PMVICs goes beyond compliance and regulation. This is about saving lives. No one can mandate us to save other people's lives. This is our moral obligation to make sure that our vehicles are safe, not just for our families, but that we don't pose a threat to others on the road.
On the issue of damages and doubts on test results, the LTO said that the particular center will be called out.
Tatawagin natin ng pansin yung MVIC na kung saan nagkaroon ng ganitong pagkakamali para itama nila o tignan nila ang let's say performance ng kanilang mga equipment, performance ng kanilang technicians para makorek ito. Kasi hindi man talaga dapat payagan kung patuloy na nagkakamali. Bibigyan natin sila ng pagkakataon na itama yung pagkakamali. Pero kung nakikita natin na mukhang ito'y paulit-ulit at walang nangyayari, walang improvement, maaaring sanctionin natin ang mga MVICs na yan para panagutan kung ano bang let's say damage na nangyari sa makakalang sasakyan ng mga customers nila, at maaari silang kasama sa sanction is yung hindi lang multa kundi pati pag-recall o pag-suspinde ng kalang pribilehiyo mag-operate ng MVIC.
We acknowledge, especially during nag-uumpisa po yung mga PMVIC, hindi maiwasan, meron talagang mga pagkukulang at pagkakamali, pero hindi naman ito major. Majority of these are minor glitches and sufficiently addressed po ito lahat. That much I can assure.
Here's hoping for a better operation of private motor vehicle inspection centers, which will lead to a better and safer road for everyone.
That's our public service segment from Honda Cars Philippines. And should you yourself encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on your screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on social media.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now in its 34th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. Stay healthy and be vigilant at all times. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa.
Happy motoring!